Alright, in this video we'll see how to create a quick links dashboard widget. So this is the WordPress dashboard and we have created a widget over here. It will show you the quick links, and these settings can be modified on the dashboard links page, which is this one. You can see if you want to provide the access to add posts, if you want access to new user, themes and plugin, just click on the save changes and that changes will be reflected in the dashboard. So you can see you have given access to these links. In case if you have given access to the client, he wants to find the link where it is, so you can just populate these links based on the settings over here. So we'll be using setting API, so these information are saved in this particular table called options, WP options. You can see WP options, and this is the value, key value. This is the key and this is the relevant value, which is in the form of Ajax. We'll see how to create that. Now in this video we'll be using setting API. As said, we will be using the link in the settings submenu, and we'll be using, as it's called, option page as well, and we'll be seeing how to create a dashboard widget. This is called dashboard widget, and we'll use PHP array to store these value into the WP option table. Now these are the hooks. Along with this, the hero of this video is this hook, actually WP dashboard setup, that will let you add your custom widget in this particular page, which is in the dashboard. Without wasting time, let's get into it. In case if you are interested in becoming a web developer or a WordPress developer or a web designer, I have a separate roadmap for it. I would recommend you to start from HTML, then get into CSS, then get into JavaScript, then PHP, MySQL, WooCommerce, WP theme development and W3 plugin development. Now each of the courses have some amount of lessons that's a practical based. If you see, I've divided it. Let's say you have zero knowledge in HTML, so this is a roadmap for zero to hero. We'll be starting from HTML and CSS. These are practical based, not just a theory based, and then we'll be moving into PSD to HTML. We'll be converting PSD to HTML, and we'll be using a Bootstrap CSS framework, which is PSD to Bootstrap 4. And finally, once you complete this course, you'll be confident enough to say yourself as you are a skilled HTML developer. Similarly for the CSS, once you complete this, you'll be confident enough to say yourself you're a skilled web designer, and this is for the JavaScript. You'd be confident enough to say yourself as you're a skilled web developer, front UI developer in other words. Now similarly for JavaScript, we have hundreds of lessons in it. These are practical based. We'll be using Visual Editor, we'll be creating from scratch, we'll be creating a typing game, and we'll be creating shopping cart, and we'll be creating draggable sections. And once you start from zero, so this is again a zero to hero roadmap. We'll be creating Giphy site clone, we'll be creating IDMV clone, we'll be creating a calendar widget, we'll be creating text to speech, we'll be creating typing text, alarm sound, and finally the custom chatbot. Again, this is a zero to hero roadmap. I'll leave the link in the description in case if you are interested. Just go through it. As of now, the course is free, but day passes, I'll make it paid. Now for the start, I want to show our plugin in this page. So for that, what we need to do is we need to get into the plugins folder. I have set up my WordPress internally. Now in the plugins folder, I need to create a new folder. Let's say widget hyphen dashboard is my plugin name. Sorry, the folder name. What I need is I need to create a new file, and it's recommended to have the same folder name to your file name. Here in this case it's widget hyphen dashboard .php. Now what we need to do is we need to pass some metadata for this information. So we have description, we have version, we have author. So for that we'll be using a comment, and this is called UI Monk quick links, and that's enough. If I refresh this, you should see another link. Once I activate, what I need is I need an option page just below here. So for that, we need to attach our function to a hook called admin menu. So whenever the admin menu hook calls, we want our function to get executed. So here we would be defining the WordPress functions for creating the submenu on the settings page. So this is the name, this is the page name, and this is a name that would be reflected over here. and this is for the author, sorry, this is for the WordPress to know what capability that the user should have. Manage option is default, and this is a slug. So when I click on it, you'll see the slug changes to this one. So for that we will be giving the slug and then the relevant function. Once I click on it, what should happen? A page should open. So for that, let's just make this blank. So this is enough to have our links in the so for that we have to activate that. Let's just activate this. Once it's activated, in the settings you'll see dashboard link to. If I click on it, the page would be blank. So if you want, you can just make this quick links, UI Monk quick links, and the name would be changed, UI Monk quick links. Cool. Now what I need is I need to have a form. So before that, we are making use of setting API. The reason for using setting API is it would internally take care of the CRUD operation. So CRUD operation is nothing but the data would get saved into the database and getting inserting data. CRUD is actually create, read, update and delete. So these operations would be taken care of the settings API. We just have to use that function, and by default WordPress will take care of it. So I want a variable similar to this one to be created by WordPress, and for that we need to use, we are using setting API. So for that WordPress gives you a function to do that, and we need to initialize it when your dashboard actually gets initialized by WordPress. So for that, this is the hook. When your admin dashboard is getting initialized, this function would get called, and this function will register our variable, which is similar to this one, is getting registered, and this is a group. So this group is needed when you call a form. When you call a form, we want WordPress to take care of the CSRF token and nonce and sanitization. These things are taken care of WordPress by itself because we are using setting API. If we don't use setting API, we have to make sure we are using CSRF token, we are using nonce. These are security protocols for WordPress, and the other one is we would be using sanitize. So we don't want to use or make a page complicated. Since WordPress provides security API, we'll make use of it. And this is a variable that holds our array. Now what do we need? We want a array that holds these labels. You see, these are the labels and the values. So if I click on it, you will see the name will have an attribute post, and again the name will have attribute page. Again the name will have attribute media. Again the name will have attribute user. So what happens is, so let's just define one thing. The first one is label and the second one is name attribute. So for that we need to create an array, and we have created an array. This is the name attribute and this is the label. So in the place we will be running a for each loop. In the label attribute we will be accessing this one. In the name attribute we will be accessing this one. Let's do that. So before that, we want to make sure our variable is fetched or not. So when page reload, if you see when the page is getting reloaded, what happens is the data is getting populated by itself. If I update this, and even if I refresh the page, the state remains the same. For that, we will be using the database object to make sure the data is fetched by using get option. If the value is stored in this link, we would be accessing it with the help of get option. If there is no value, then the empty array would be stored. I'm repeating again. If there is any value, it will fetch the array. If there is no value, it will give you an empty array. In this case, we will be receiving empty array. Now we'll be using a form, and the action we have made it options.php, and we have registered the group for the security protocols, and we have called it. So WordPress will take care of CSRF token, nonce and sanitization, and then our values. We have set it 1. We have run a for each loop on this array. As said, on the right side values, these will be labels. So these will be labels, and on the left side value, we will be passing the key. Either it's going to be key. So in the array, how it will be stored. So this will store in like this. So if it is post, then its value is 1. Similarly, if it is media, similarly if it is page, similarly if it is user, and so on. Themes. So you see, I have made this 1 1 1 1 1 is because I'm passing the value 1. So if I click on submit, what happens is PHP form, sorry, WordPress form will check if this radio button is checked. That means this will have the value 1. If the radio button is checked, if this will have the value 1. If suppose the radio button is not checked, and don't go with the name, if the radio button is not checked, then there will be no value at all. Similarly, it will check if this is not checked, then there is no value. If it is not checked, then there is no value. So when on submit, only the post and page will have 1 and 1 each, and these data will get stored as the array. I hope that is clear. And this is for the checking. I'll get back to you once the time comes, but understand this is the core logic. Now let's just check. I want the new page and the themes to get stored in the database, and if I click on the WP option and check our variable value, which we have defined it over here, and it will have themes and page as we have ticked theme and page. If I want add post, only the 3 value will get stored. Refresh it again and let's check it for the variable. Only the 3 values need to be stored: post, page, and theme. Let me just show you here. You can see post, page, and theme. Yes. Now what we do? Now it's very simple. We need to call a dashboard widget. So when your dashboard is getting setting up, you have a hook and we'll attach that function to it. And once that function is called, we will attach the creation of widget file, so creation of widget code, so that we can have another widget. So this is the handle, you don't have to worry about it. So this is the heading, UI among quick links, and this is the function that will have the code to have this work. Now it's simple. Now what we need is, when the widget is called, this function would get executed and we'll get the value from the database. To get the value, since we are using setting API, we don't have to use the query. We'll be just using the get option, and this is the key. And if there is no value, then there would be an empty. So this is a fallback. If there is no value, then empty array. If there is value, then fetch those value. And we know how the data is getting stored. This data is stored in the form of post, page, and theme. Now WordPress don't know to add the link. So you can see in the dashboard, these are the links. You can see in over here where my mouse is, these are the links that's getting changed. Now we need to make sure if the post comes, the relevant link should be called. If the page counts, the relevant page should be called. If the theme comes, the key theme comes with the relevant page. For that we need to create an array. So based on the key, I have added the links. So post new, media new, user new, theme.php, plugin.php, and since page is also a post, so post new, and the post type is page. Now we will be using a for each, and that is pretty simple. We will be using a stuff unordered list, and we will be passing the key, and the key is actually either going to be post, either going to be one of the value, and the relevant URL would be called. So that's why this is an associative array. The links will be pasted over here, and here we will be getting the keys, which is either post or page or theme. Either post or page or theme will be stored here. We'll be using the PHP uppercase first. The first value will be, first letter would be uppercase, and that's it. Your plugin would work, and data would be fetched and displayed over here. UI want quick links, and in case if you want to change, let's say I want all of them to be shown, I click on save changes, and that data would be displayed. All links would be available. So this one on is also needed, because whenever there is on, that data would get fetched, or else you'll get this error. Make sure to have that. make sure to note that